by the time you see this video, the national school walkout will have already occurred. Now, I want to say something positive. I'm glad these kids are able to speak out for what they might believe in. Although I do not agree with them, I do not believe in shutting them up. However, I must continue on. I must say, I question the true force behind these kids. To nationalize a movement this quickly and organize it was done by something above and beyond these kids. Something behind the scenes is orchestrating this. A malicious force, perhaps. I don't believe the few kids in the Florida school has done this on their own. Absolutely not. There's professional activists and politicians utilizing American tax dollars to organize this. They're using our own money against us, so to speak. For an example, I just read yesterday that Baltimore, Maryland is using $100,000 to send students, kids, to Washington to protest today. Now, if you're a resident of Baltimore, Maryland, and you pay your taxes, perhaps you might be against this. But yet they don't care. They're taking your tax dollars and sending these kids to protest against what you believe in. And that is wrong. That is wrong. Again, I have no problem with any protester utilizing the First Amendment, free speech. But to take my money, my resources, something I've worked for, and use it against me, that is wrong, folks. The shadow organization or the shadow government, whoever is doing this, organizing of these student kids, just like Nazi Germany, they're mobilizing our kids against us. A lot of people leave comments. Why is this being done to us? What is the ultimate plan, the ultimate goal of these powers that hide in the shadows? Control. Power and control. It's no longer about money. They got all the money they need. They need to control their cattle, is what it all boils down to. They took over our schools. The government took over our schools a long time ago. They knew if they can get to our children and change and manipulate and mold their minds to what they perceive as right, they can change the nation in their vision. Now they're using these students for this gun cause of theirs. Just like they use the children, sad children, to raise taxes. They throw an image of a sad child. We need to raise the children's school taxes. The laptops are not fast enough. I'm being facetious, but that's pretty much what they do. They throw some poor kid's face on there, you know, give to the African whatever nation of Zimbabwe, and you could feed kids, you know, for 10 cents a day, you know, and the money never gets there. It's being used for other political gain. I urge you all to look up something on Google when you shut this video down. To prove my point, look up 3 words in Google. Iraq, incubator, babies. I think it was Iraq. Try Iran, try Afghanistan. But it's one of those stand countries where American politicians formulated a lie that the Iraqi soldiers were throwing newborn babies on the floor out of their incubators in order to start a war. Google that. Iraq incubator babies. They utilize kids to achieve political goals where normally they could not achieve. And that's what's going on now. There is a malicious organization that is organizing this national walkout. Anyway, folks, I hope these kids really truly believe in what they're protesting for. As a child, as a former child, we all know that we have a deep desire for a sense of belonging, acceptance among our peers. As we grow old, we can care less who likes us or not. But as a kid, that is strong. And I wonder how many kids are just doing this to be accepted. Very much like when you were in school, you might know a few people, you might not have fallen to this, but a lot of people tried smoking just out of peer pressure. A lot of people tried drinking, smoking weed out of peer pressure. How many of these student protesters just want to belong to something? That's all I got to say about this video. I do agree that everybody should be able to speak. I don't agree with shouting them down or shutting them off, but I hope these kids have really thought out what they're really protesting. I hope they done some opposition research. For starters, the Second Amendment. I hope they research that before they protest against it. Take care.